Alright, we've got 2 packages. Although, I'm not sure how much stuff there is. I think only 2 here and 1 in there. But there's a couple other things that arrived in the show. Anyway, let's start digging into these. That's kind of a little solid, isn't it? So we're going to scissor it or something. They'll come back around over here and whatever, that should be enough to get it open anyways. I mean, obviously this is the bottom and that's part of the trick of opening it, but you know, top is where the shipping label is. Okay, got this, which is expected. Okay, this is it. Here is thing. Did I hear something else wrong? I don't know. I don't think there's anything else in here, but and we'll put these 2 things here, and then the other 2 things I got are Harvest Moon Skytree Village, you know, just an old used copy, and I decided to pick up Dragonball Xenoverse 2. I don't know, it doesn't rate spectacularly, but I was kind of curious about character creation sort of stuff. Maybe a bit of a waste of money, or maybe I'll play it and have fun, who knows. So let's... Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else, and I don't see anything that got dropped on the floor. So maybe I was just hearing things. So let's try and fail to open this thing. There's a little lip here, but it's giving me a lip. There we go. So I'm trying to remember what was in Volume 2's thing. Yeah. Well, this looks like a keyframe, but it's taped together. I almost kind of don't want to take the tape off. That's unfortunate. For y'all, that is. It means, yeah, well, you'll just have to deal with the fact that you don't get to see whatever that is. And I might not ever take a look at it, so maybe it's a waste. So we got KuroMukuro Volume 1. Are there kids on the cover of the other one? I'm not even quite sure what sort of show this is supposed to be. But Volume 2 arrived a long time ago. Volume 1 never shipped, but I guess that's because of the few copies that did ship, there was a known manufacturer error of some sort. So it got recalled, and it seems like it's been since forever ago. And this one's obviously seen a little action, but I guess since that comes off and doesn't stick on, I guess it's okay. Looks like we've got 13 episodes. This says an English dub apparently, because that says English audio. Spanish subtitles. I'm not seeing anything here that says Region A, so I wonder, but I'm going to toss that aside. We're going to go into it and poke around. So this is the Volume 1 disc. This looks familiar. Was this the image or something? Ow. A pokey piece of plastic right there. Ouch. So that's Blu-ray. This is Blu-ray. Is the original soundtrack. So this is 1913 plus bonus, so that's 1 through 4, 5 through 8. Interesting. Because I don't remember a thing about the second volume. And I dig it out, but I'm being lazy. Or tired, I don't know. So I'm taking it this is a mecha of some sort. Oh, look, this seems familiar. Some of these characters are all the same picture. I'm curious about them. It's weird how it seems like slice of life on some sides and mecha on the others. We got some volume 1 thing. About the usual stuff we expect to see from these books. And now, if only I could get it in. There we go. Next up, we got Danganronpa 3: The End of Hope's Peak High School Future Arc, which sounds like it's the second arc of Danganronpa 3 or something. So this release date was originally last week, and there's just some Amazon stuff that seems to be shipping late. In fact, I think I saw stuff that shipped that I guess was going to be released this week, but whatever. Maybe the stock's not coming in or something. People. All sphere and hope and despair. Hey, that rhymes. We got Blu-ray 2, and it should say Blu-ray 1. I'm always curious about looking because we've had some releases that either print them wrong or actually do have the wrong thing. Very few DVDs 1 and 2. But, you know, it's still worth checking to make sure. Next up, we've got Naruto Shippuden DVD set 32. With people. And 2 discs. So this is ReLIFE. I don't know what it's about, but the name sounds so damn familiar. Oh, I guess this is some sort of limited edition version with something there, maybe. What do I even have? Season 1, 13 episodes. Looking on the back, as I take this plastic off, I can see that regions A and B, audio, English, so it's dubbed. Who released this? Crunchyroll Funimation. Okay, so it's a Funimation release, so the dubbing is maybe not so uncanny. I think I've got everything there I need. I just need to get this off, and the glue's being very sticky. Excuse me. ReLIFE Laboratory. And do I want to take that glue off? I think I do. And I'll stick it over here so I don't lose it. I'm curious, since this is open, these are probably postcards, but it looks like they'll be easy to put back in. Subjects. Subject. Subject. Student. Student. Okay, now I'm really confused, and thus made very curious. You got a mixture of subjects and students. So I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Although, given how lazy I've been, who knows if I'll ever get around to it. Yeah, okay, that is what it is. I'm trying not to read the text because I'd like to be surprised. So it looks like we've got 2 Blu-ray discs over on the left here, and if I take it off, we can take a look at the artwork they chose for the back of it. See, this is why I watch anime. All this stuff still looks like things I just want to watch. I just don't spend any time on it. DVD number 1. Wow. Is she okay? And then, let's see, y'all probably can't see this. Yeah. Interesting curiosities. I want to see what their social lives are like and watch. Oh well. And then, last but not least, we have Season 3, Part 1 of D.Gray-man, which it's nice because I think it means they can finish releasing all of it, although I don't think there was a Blu-ray release, which I'm not sure if Season 2 was completely released on Blu-ray or if it was canceled before or whatever. So let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything down here that indicates English dub, English surround. Okay, so yeah, sounds like there's a dub. I don't remember if there was a dub in the other one, but I assume there was because that was old enough Funimation. Oh jeez, who's that? Is that Alan? No. That's kind of cool looking. Oh, here's this week's anime DVD collection update. I feel like maybe I didn't watch all that much this past week. Oh well, I did finish Hioki, and it's... I guess I could kind of understand where it stopped, why it stopped, but I could see there being more, so I'm not sure what to think about it. It was definitely entertaining, and one problem I have with it is I really like the reasoning that they have in there a lot more than in, say, Gosick. And the example I keep giving to friends is basically the girl does some ass-pull reasoning, as I would call it, where it's only true because from a narrative perspective it has to be true for her. Whereas this one, it's more the flow of natural thoughts sorts of thing. And, you know, I like that. And I guess I was just maybe mostly distracted by stuff, probably making StarMade things. I'm just looking through here to see if there was anything else. It's like, oh yes, I watched that, but no. So I watched Hinako because that seemed like it would be perfectly fine to have on in the background while I was doing stuff. And it's entertaining. It is slightly different than what I expected, but maybe that made it better. Basically, I thought it was just like, oh yes, here she is doing an exercise like she's just some girl running an exercise program. And it isn't quite that. It's pretty close, but I guess the general premise is she was a normal live action girl who got sucked into the world of anime or something, and we, the viewers, are visiting her. So it's got this interesting progression, I guess, where if you take the 3 episodes, training, bath time, and no, training, sleeping, and bath time, it's not the same order that they have back here, but that was the order they played. It's interesting because for training, it's kind of, oh, you're there visiting and you're working out with her or something, but for sleeping, they set it up as if you're visiting, but you're someone she cares about, and bath time kind of continues that, but I guess there's another character that appears that confused me last time who's also kind of interested in you, so it's kind of setting you, the viewer, up as a harem. What do you call the person that's the target of a harem? Harem target? I don't know. So it's weird, but not bad. I haven't tried considering if I would actually try using like the workout one that tried doing workouts, because it's, some of it seems like it's intentional to, it's intended to be used that way if you really wanted it to, but it's also ridiculously fan servicey, always showing angles, maybe to encourage people to pop it in and watch it more and do workouts more consistently or something. Or I don't know, maybe it wasn't actually intended to be a workout thing, because it's not like the sleeping thing, like it's got some repetitions. My concern is that it just goes too quickly from set to set, and maybe doesn't give people enough time to change stuff. But maybe that's fine. Maybe people just get used to this sort of thing, because it's not like any of the exercise programs I've done, like some P90X3 and what was that other thing? I can't remember what it was called.
But the sleeping doesn't really cover stuff like that, and it also is almost not quite appropriate for something you'd put on for sleeping, unless of course you looped specific parts of it. Because in terms of just being good background white noise that's kind of comforting, if you're aiming for that concept, there's a lot of the sleeping one that's like that, but there's also clearly characters speaking, because there's dreams that get shown here and there. So it's kind of weird. And in the bath time one, there's actually stretches there that may be relevant for bath time sort of stuff, but I don't know. So overall, it's strange but interesting. It's one of those things that I think is valuable for it to exist, just because of, I don't know, it's a very anime thing to exist. And then I watched the first disc of Naruto Shippuden DVD set 32. Not both discs, because I'm watching that with my friend, and first disc is a little on the weak side. It's not horrible, but it's not as exciting, because ridiculously exciting stuff is being distracted from, and it even seems to be distracted from its distractions, which kind of reminds me of Bleach a little bit. I kind of mentioned that Bleach had this problem of, you know, being in the middle of something and jerking and telling this little silly side story before shooting right back a couple episodes later. And sometimes it even did distractions. I think it did distractions of distractions. There's been a couple of those for Naruto, because I don't think there was a natural flow from what they were telling to what they flashed back even further to. It just was. So there's a lot of filling in of characters, not necessarily backstories. I'm going to call them side stories. So basically, if you consider Naruto to be the story of Naruto, even though it spends a lot of time talking about people other than Naruto, side stories would be like, oh, during this period of time that we didn't talk about, where you know this was the end result, but here's how they reached that end result, that sort of stuff. So it's distracting, and maybe it gets back in the second disc. I would guess not, but yeah, I'm watching it. Outside of that, there's a Marshadow distribution going on at GameStop. So that got me, I reached a stopping point in my StarMade project where I have the working elevators, and they're actually enclosed in the shafts and not just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, so I can expand upon whatever walkways are supposed to be beyond that. So that project can be put on hold. And Splatoon, I'm not feeling a big pressure to level up, but I probably still should, because I want to get all the related gear together that I want, that I'm focusing on. But the Marshadow thing, you know, kind of got me thinking, well, I should probably be trying to prepare for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to play those. I guess those are things to consider, but that's just next month. For the time being, I'm remembering what the project I was in the middle of, and I've been resuming it. It's just a soft resetting for Tapu Koko. And I have to get through the other stuff to get there, and I'm probably going to grab a couple of those Pikachus, you know, because I have multiple copies of the game, so I can do that. So I will. But, you know, that's Pokemon. I guess I mentioned Dragonball Xenoverse 2 and buying it for the character creation, and I did play that a little bit. It was entertaining, but kind of in a silly, this isn't really Dragon Ball sort of way. What I like about the characters is they look like very Dragon Ball-esque characters, and so you get to explore ideas that I don't think would normally be explored in there, and maybe there's some canonicism in there, but at the same time it feels like it just gets a couple things really wrong here and there, and tutorial-wise it's kind of crazy. Basically, there's games which have tutorials which just kind of throw a blob of buttons at you, and it kind of does that for some of the basic stuff and doesn't really have a good excuse for the gameplay itself teaching that stuff to you, I guess. And then it has some stuff that's here's a quick thing on how you do attacking, and I'm like, how much am I going to remember? And I don't pick it up really fast, and the tutorial has a lot of really fast-paced stuff happening to it, so it's not like properly building up, I guess. So it's in that regard, it's kind of a rough start. It doesn't even seem like Monster Hunter where there's like this build-up of stuff, and I'm almost wondering if it's supposed to be something sort of like that. I'll find out more whenever I play more, if I ever play more. I suspect I will. I'm just not sure 100% if I'll be doing that, because really I need to be focusing on Pokemon, and if I'm focusing on Pokemon, especially if it's only soft resetting, that might be a good opportunity to watch Kaiba, which I keep not putting in the player and starting, because maybe that's what's next, or maybe I should take a look at some of the stuff I have now, because there's so many things I just want to watch and just not enough time for all of it. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's most of everything. Probably more than... Oh my god, there was that project. I forgot that took so much time. Anyways, that doesn't involve y'all. Y'all, have a nice week.